My name is Celine O'Connor, as David said, and I'm the head of BIM at Henry J. Lyons. And I have been working at Henry J. Lyons for just over 5 years now. And during that time, a key project of mine has been the implementation and the development of a framework of in-house digital standards. So today I'm going to give you a very high-level overview of what that has entailed. This is very temperamental. Okay, so Henry J. Lyons, who are we? We are an architecture, interiors and master planning practice. We have over 250 staff who work across our studios in Dublin and Cork. We are ISO 19650 accredited and have been for a number of years now. And all our projects are delivered using BIM, and the majority of our architects are using BIM processes on a daily basis and modelling themselves. So it's very important in that respect that we put in a good framework of digital standards for them to work with. So in terms of in the presentation today, firstly I'm going to talk about why we believe in-house digital standards are important. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we go about creating them and rolling them out in our practice. I'm going to speak about what they include and just touch on one or two examples, and then what's next when we start to layer on new technologies and AI into our workflows. So why digital standards? Well, I'm sure there are a number of you in the room here and you've embarked on your BIM journey and you've been promised efficiencies and all the great things that come along with BIM, but you might not necessarily see these come to fruition in real projects, and it might actually be going the opposite direction in your timesheets and your resourcing where it's actually showing inefficiencies. Well, there could be a number of reasons for that, and one reason might be that the project planning hasn't adapted to BIM workflows, where we do a lot more upfront coordination, which in itself takes more time. It could be skills, and that's an obvious one. Maybe the skills, the things teams aren't proficient enough, so it means that there's inefficiencies in terms of taking too long to do things where really it needn't take that length of time. But thirdly, and most importantly, it's maybe that you don't have a good foundation for digital standards, which is essentially a launch pad from which BIM projects start. So standards, yes, they definitely deliver efficient project delivery. They encourage cross-team collaboration, and they standardise information output. And I'll give you one example. When I started in Henry J. Lyons, I was tasked with looking at processes across the board. And I would find that one team would be developing a beautiful suite of window families specific for their project. And on another floor of the building, another team might be doing the exact same task for their specific project, maybe taking days, if not weeks, to develop this suite of families. So nobody was taking a step back and having a look at it holistically, and how do we put something in place that would be suitable for all teams and multiple project types across the practice. So how did we go about creating these standards? Well, firstly, it was important to us that we got feedback and input from a large a number of people across the practice with different expertise and different levels of experience. So in order to do that, we set up the HJL BIM team, and that is a group of 12 architects across the practice, and we meet every 2 weeks. And when we meet, we agree the digital standards, our BIM processes, and it's basically our recommendation for the other 200 or so staff who are engaging with these processes every day. And then when we have agreed the standards and we document them or we implement them, we then have to roll them out and let all of our staff know that these are in place. So in order to do so, we created a BIM website. And this is a place where all our staff can come and readily access our standards that we've put in place. Scrolling down, we have a bit general BIM standards. We also have links to our training, and we also have a Meet the BIM team section as well. So in the video, if it was to play, it would go into this section here, which is modelling and Revit. And within there, we have it separated into different categories, and we have about, I'd say about 15 different categories there. And the video would have clicked into our Windows specific category, continuing on the theme, and then there is a whole selection of videos in there of how we use our specific window families that we built. So there is the video would have showed you, click in, and it was a very specific video on how to add a sill to our window family. So by default we don't add sills to our standard library because it would be considered over modelling. But if you did want to do that on your project, there was a video there explaining how to do it. And so, I mean, we have lots and lots. You can see the contents up there. We have lots and lots of content on this website. We're continuously adding to it. And I suppose it's just to give you to show you the platform we have enabled so that our architects can go in and find the standards readily when they need them. So what is in our standards as well? So that's how we do the standards. What is in them? Well, yes, definitely. I mentioned window families, and a really well audited, fit for purpose component library is very important, and we are regularly keeping that up to date. All our families will be customizable. They're built in-house, and as I said, they're fit for purpose for what they need. Yes, we have a collection of showroom files, and the next slide is going to show you a video of one of those, but I might have to talk you through it. So our showroom files are essentially display cases. They're a collection of categories. They're essentially a kind of Revit files with a set collection of categories for that particular category. So in the showroom files you have it's a display case for families. We have detail items, 2D detail items. We have sample 2D details. We have our recommendations for modelling within those categories. So we have a whole lot of information in those files. We have about 10 of them at the moment, and we're constantly developing new ones. We also, yes, a Revit project template is very important. We have that in place and we're always improving it. We like to keep it light so that it's not too much information in it, but yet it is a good launch pad for BIM projects. We have a lot of procedure documents on how we do things. We have explanatory videos. 1 minute, okay. And we have templates, so a lot of our BIM standards. So we have a whole collection of stuff going into our BIM standards. So this was an example. It was a little video which actually took you into our window showroom file. You can see the collection of windows we have there. There are window types. You go in then and you'll see components, you'll see our frames, you'll see our panels, our ironmongery and accessories, and there's a whole load of content within that one Windows file. And I'm just continuing on the theme of Windows here, but this is across the board in our practice. So our architects now, they're not working in silos across the practice. What they do is they come here, they come to our files, they come to our website, and they know exactly, they can take this very easily and get started on their project, focusing time on designing and being creative and innovative and not spending mundane tasks developing these, because it's already there for them. So what's next? We are constantly adding to our standards. We have a lot in place, so we have a lot more in the pipeline and a lot in development. We're constantly looking to improve our workflows and bring in new technologies. And of course, with AI integration and adoption, we are implementing that across our practice in many different work streams, and that's no different in BIM. So we're actually just about to launch an agent, which actually you can interact with in conversational format, which will specifically related to our standards, that you would have seen on the webpage there. We start to use AI to enable to create efficiencies when we're actually enabling or creating that content. And lastly, where we've really started to see the fruition of AI in our standards is the accessibility of scripting now without the need to know necessarily Dynamo and Python. So what we've done is we've started to develop our own HTML tools. So all our architects have this, and these are all a selection of tools that relate back to our standards that you won't find in other plugins. And we're finding these are very useful already in saving a lot of time. I'll give you one example if I have time. This one here is our drawing register tool. So if you're in your model, you can click on that. And what it does is it launches an Excel spreadsheet or an Excel file, which is our drawing register. It's in our Henry J. Lyons format, and it picks up, most importantly, it picks up all the previous revisions that have been issued from Revit, which, if some of you may know here, they're not schedulable in Revit. So this tool alone now is saving a lot of time where people would have traditionally been doing it manually in Excel. So I think I'm at the end now. So summary, yes. So I would say it's very important to have digital standards in place in your practice to gain the efficiencies in BIM. People like standards, they want them. They don't want to be spending time on, an architect doesn't want to be, most architects don't want to be spending time on this stuff. They want it there, ready for them to use in their project, and they can focus their time on designing great buildings. Standards remove the guesswork and the rework, and digital standards, well, as I was saying, a thread through the presentation, they enable better design and construction. So what I've presented here today, it's definitely what works for our organisation. Every company will be different in how they go about rolling these out. If you're an SME, you might not have the resources of having a full-time BIM manager, but I would say if you start small with bite-sized chunks, maybe afford 1 or 2 people a day or a couple of hours a week or a day or 2 a month to actually start implementing this, you'll very quickly start to see the benefits, and it'll build up over time. If you start with small bite-sized chunks, pick something, maybe a pain point or a pinch point in your organisation, develop that out, and then over time you will start to see it build up and the efficiencies roll out after that. So, thank you very much for listening.